No one's more important than the other person. If I'm mean to someone that's homeless on the street, I will get my karma. Welcome back, my billion-dollar baby. Today we're going to dive into, is karma real? And the shocking truth behind what it really means. I feel like there's a lot of people that either believe in karma or don't even look at it or think about it. And it's been really interesting because in my life, I've met with different spiritual people as well as people that practice spirituality for a living and teach it. And I've had some of them come across me in situations and been like, don't do that or you'll get karma. And I'm like, oh, interesting. And so it wasn't until those earlier days where I started to really think about what really is karma to me and how is that in my life. And I feel like it could really help shine light in your life of where you can achieve a place where you understand. And by understanding this, you will begin to know how karma is affecting your life and then how you can use karma to affect your life in a positive way. So I looked up some things around karma, which I think are cool for you to really think about, is karma and energy. The idea ties into the concept of energy in a way that may resonate with your spiritual interests. Karma can be viewed as the energy of your intention that shapes our life experience. It aligns with the broader idea that what we put out into the world, whether thoughts, words, or actions, create ripples that eventually return to us. In protecting yourself from lower vibrational energy, practicing mindful intention and compassion might be ways of ensuring that the energy you generate is in harmony with the world. So how I would look at that is anything that you think about or do in your life, if your intention behind it is coming from a place of caring about someone else and wanting to see them do well and feeling excited to help someone. Or for an example, the other night I saw this man, he was really old and he was giving out flowers, and you see those people giving out flowers, but this old man, I just looked at him, I'm like I genuinely wanted to give to him and, take the time to give him something because I could just imagine myself in his shoes. I think that is the difference, is when you're doing things just purely because you could put yourself in that other person's shoes or your intentions behind it are good, your karma in this world is going to come back tenfold. And what I've read about karma is if your intentions behind it are to, get something from that good gesture, and you're coming from okay, if I give this to you, what are you going to give to me? Or if I help you with this, I need you to help me with this. And it's never coming from you know what? I care about you, I want to help, and I don't need anything in return. When you do that and you give to people that maybe can't give you something in return, or you're just coming to help your friend because you want to be there for them, those are the beautiful parts of karma that will pay you tenfold. So it's interesting because when you actually live from this place, the world is so fulfilling too. Have you ever heard about when you kind of start to take attention all off me, life becomes so much more flow, because now you're thinking about how can I help others, or how can I make someone else be inspired today, or help them with something they need. It's when you start to serve others, it's so interesting because the universe will serve you. And I think that's so beautiful when you look at it that way, that is how our world is built. It's when we stop being selfish and we start caring about others and being there for others, it's so rewarding and more than just the feeling. So that's what's really cool about karma. Let me go into some other areas. This one's a huge one. So karma is the universe shining a mirror back onto you. Karma can be seen as the reflection of your intentions manifesting in your life, the energy behind your actions, whether it's rooted in kindness, selfishness, or negativity, often finds its way back to you in various different forms. When you act with positive intentions, you create an energetic ripple that can return to the form of favorable experiences, growth, or peace. Similarly, to negative intentions may lead to struggles, challenges that mirror the energy you put out. It's less about punishment or rewards, and it's more about the energy you're aligning with in the universe. Do you feel that your intentions are the key driver of the experiences that show up in your life? So I feel like the best place to start is some real stories that I've witnessed people get karma. For an example, when I was younger, there's this boy, he was really cool. He was like the coolest guy in our town and every girl liked him. He was kind of like a player and he really like broke a lot of girls' hearts, like a lot. And what's interesting now is I'm friends with him today and he has such bad luck with relationships. Like every relationship he's had has been just spiraled into like the most negative, crazy stories. And I'm like, that happened to you? Like he just can't seem to get a healthy, committed relationship. And now that he's older, he wants that. And I've just seen that and I've talked to him about it. I'm like, do you ever think about like how you treated these girls when we were younger? I mean, I was one of those girls that he broke my heart when I was little, but he did it to so many girls to be like the cool guy in town. It's been something he's really had to work on and understand and reflect and, forgive himself and send, love to the people he's hurt and, work on that part of himself. And obviously that comes from, when people treat others like that, it's also because they don't feel worthy or good enough. And it's coming from different traumas within themselves. But what's interesting about that is how you are treating someone or the intentions behind what you're doing. As much as you think, oh, only I know that I have these maybe not so great intentions, it's not true because you are putting out that feeling and you are going to get a reflection of that in your life and in your future. Another interesting one was there was a friend of mine who I left a previous job and I was friends with him on the side and he kept saying like how great I was doing with working with influencers. And he's like, hey, I have a cool opportunity for you to come into my business. And I have this opportunity. It's a brand new startup, like the LLCs and business formation wasn't even created yet. Like it was so new, there was no name. And he's like, I have this idea though, and I want you to come in on it. And I also have a friend of mine that I'm going to bring on it too. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So I came in, heard the idea. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And I started building out the idea beyond where it started with and working on it for sweat equity and all this stuff. Obviously, I wasn't getting paid. And then about like 5 months in of working, I signed up all these influencers through my networks over the years to this opportunity. And he said, okay, if you get these influencers to sign, which I did, then we're going to get this investor to come in and obviously you'll get your equity and so forth. So I'm like, okay. So I went and did all of the work, got all these people to sign, put my name on it. And fast forward, I'm in a meeting where I'm also introducing him to another strategic partner that I'm like, they would be good to work with. And he's sitting right next to me, the person that I was introducing him to for the business we were working on. This guy, he was older, he was much more successful. I kind of looked at him as a mentor at the time. He's like, what's the business called? And then my friend said the name of the business and he's like, okay. And he's like scrolling on his laptop while he's talking to us. And he's like, oh, interesting. So I see the business here. So you're the owner and he's listing the names. He's like, oh, and this person is an owner and this person. Okay, so you guys are the owners. Never said my name. And then I looked at him and I'm like, why am I not an owner? And he's like, oh, we're figuring that out. And that's when I realized this guy literally cut me out of the business. And I got up calmly because I was in front of other people. I didn't go out of my way to tell all those influencers to not work with, to not sign, but I did say to them, I'm like, hey, I'm no longer going to be a part of this project. You're more than welcome to move forward, but I am moving out. And every single one of them dropped off the project. Fast forward, I found out from the investor that he said I was just his assistant coordinating the talent when every single one of the talent was my relationship, didn't even know who he was. So he basically had me do all this work for free with no money and wasn't going to give me any equity. And this was like a close friend of mine. But this is the type of thing. It's like if you're always out for yourself, the world is going to bring you your karma. It's just going to happen. So fast forward, walked away from that situation, never spoke to him again. I literally would see him out and acted like, don't even know who you are. I literally don't even know your name. Like he wasn't even a human to me anymore. You're cut. Got my successes. My business ended up becoming, a very big agency with all these influencers. And that was always similar to what he wanted to create. Not similar, but like he wanted to work with influencers. And I got invited to a meeting with the owner of this huge platform. I went into the meeting and he told all his team, like, Tara, the CEO of Unruly, is coming in today. It's like, organize all your stuff and I need you guys to take notes. And I walk in there and he was one of the employees taking notes on the meeting with me and his boss, who was also the owner of the company. And it was just such a fulfilling moment to be like, you fucked me over. And now I'm going to act like I don't even know you exist. And I don't even know who you are. And think about all the things you could have done with me in your career if you kept me on your good side, if you didn't look at me like I was nothing or treat me like that. And so I've always treated people that I work with or strategics or even now my employees, I always am good to them at the end of the day. Like they know when they sit at home by themselves and think about me, I've never done anything to them. I've always been good to them. And if anything, over the years, I've had people take advantage of me. I have a peace with knowing that the karma is going to balance. I don't need to go out of my way to revenge or come after you because you've put your karma to the universe and it's gonna just come to fruition. I don't need to lower myself to your level to do it. So there's some interesting things in your life that I'm sure if you look back on where you were the bigger person when someone screwed you over, that fast forward, if you look back, you're like, wow, they got their karma. And it's such a empowering feeling, not because I want to see them like fail and I want to laugh at them. It's more so just like I stuck to being the better person and the bigger person here. I didn't swoop to your level and just spend all my time trying to bring revenge to you and how am I going to ruin your life? But I did pass it to the universe and the universe helped. And I chose to move on and trust in my future and the people that will be by my side and that I will give to, right? So it was kind of making me think about it too. There was people that were in my life like this person initially I was talking to you about that did cut me out of their business. The intention behind it was wrong. If he did certain things and like, really did want to take care of me and then it didn't work out and like came to me in a different way and whatever, I think that it would have been very different than if he did it the way he did it. And I've had other people in business specifically because I work so much that this has happened with people that when I first was starting my agency that I have now, that I gave them opportunities to come work with us and I gave them, strategy and trained them and taught them information that, I know has changed their life because they're still working in this industry today. I've seen later that, they've screwed me over in the beginning stages of my business. And now, my business has grown tenfold comparatively to where, they are in this industry. And it's just interesting to me because I'm like, I don't go out of my way thinking about that person or shaming them or wanting negative things to happen to them. But because I stay in a place of my intentions are always like, okay, this person did me wrong. It hurts. Like I am not going to be their friend anymore and I'm not going to trust them anymore, but I'm not going to go out of my way to hurt them or have revenge. And that's the part that I think will pay you in the karma balance. It's like if they did something negative to you and then you went and did something negative to them, then you're just like bouncing this ball back and forth. So I feel like what it's saying about karma is like a mirror to your life. If you keep getting bad situations happening to you over and over again, is there something you're doing that the universe is mirroring back to you? Like what karma or karmic things are you holding on to that is reflecting these negative experiences? Like, do you feel good when you look back at your life, at your actions? There's moments you probably don't feel proud of. Like for an example, someone who cheats on a significant other or breaks someone's heart. Like it's normal to break someone's heart, but it's about how you do it. And obviously you can't you can't stop someone's heart from being broken. But for an example, if this is another big one. If you date someone that you know that you don't want to be with long term, but you're so worried about being alone, so you would rather drag this relationship on for your own selfish fulfillment or your own selfish needs. That's a huge one that so many people don't realize. And it's sad because it's happening everywhere. There's so many people that are settling in relationships that are not fully happy or not fully satisfied. And they know that they don't want to be with their significant other, but they're willing to drag it on because they selfishly don't want to be alone or they haven't met anyone else yet. That's a big one. I have someone I know that this is happening to, and it's very obvious to everyone else around them that their significant other doesn't want to be with them by their actions and the way that they are when they go out and the things that they've said to other people about wanting to just meet someone else first. And the way I look at it is like, you're going to have karma. You can't waste someone else's life and use someone else for your own selfish needs without the universe delivering you your karma. And it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Like, the universe is set to be balanced, and the universe is made up of energy. It's already scientifically proven. That's why I always say that, because it's already proven that we're made up of energy. So what we put out is what we get. So it only makes sense that what our intentions are behind our actions, negative or positive, is what we're going to receive back in other forms. And so I think that's the best way to look at it. I've been in situations where I look back at my life and I'm like, oh, I didn't handle that well. And I think the best way to balance that karma is if you have something where you're not proud of yourself for how you handled it and so forth, is you reflect on it and it's the difference between how you are about that situation. I think you can balance your karma by praying and asking for forgiveness and doing good to others and paying it forward and, putting yourself in a more clear, energetic place where you actually can give love to others and come from a positive space. And so, yeah, I'm really curious to know what you guys think of karma. I think it's a very interesting topic. And, the more that I've learned about it, I'm just like, there's no way that this doesn't exist. I think that it's scary to think about that, like, is karma real? It is scary to think about, like, because we're like, oh, if I do something, something's going to happen. But it's like, yeah, it's scary to think about that. And some people would probably just rather ignore it and be like, no, it's not real. Let me just go living my life and be reckless and do whatever I want and not have to think about anyone but myself. Like, that is the easier route. And that is the cop-out route. And that is the route of blaming the world for your sorrows and poor me. But like, the more you connect with yourself and the beauty of this world and how powerful this world is, the more you realize that it actually is aligned perfectly, that everything is perfect and it's all very fair. No one's more important than the other person. If I'm mean to someone that's homeless on the street, I will get my karma. And isn't that beautiful? That, like, it's all perfectly synergistically working because the world is perfect. So I would love to know what you guys think about karma. Have you experienced karma? If you want to get into any conversations about this, I always respond to your comments. So feel free to let me know. We can go deeper into it. I think it's a very large subject and it's really exciting to talk about it more. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do this podcast because it's so fulfilling to connect with you guys, and I'll see you next week.